What's up, bros and non-bros? Happy Easter, gobble gobble, oink oink. It was a interesting Monday today. So today's video, let's take a deep dive into the market indexes. I got a couple market thoughts for you guys and some shifts that I'm noticing that we should be aware of to manage our risk. And then let's dig into the watch list at the end. Give me about 10 minutes of your time and I will have you ready to shred tomorrow. So first of all, let's take a look at the QQQ. So the QQQs had a really strong open and then it faded off its whole gap. And we're seeing this a little bit, right? We had it a couple days ago. We've had some, right, filled candles of recent. Filled candle means your gap was faded, right? And so that's something to just kind of be a little bit mindful of. We're seeing a little bit of that, right? A little bit of tossing and turning while the market churns at highs. Does that mean that the bull market is over? No. Inside bull markets, you will have different market cycles within the bull market. So you can have cycles inside cycles, right? So like, for example, like during the COVID run, right? You ran for like 6 months and then look what happened here, right? From September to December. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 months, right? You just went sideways and you entered a big chop zone. Then you ran for a few months, right? And then what ends up happening is you had, right, a multi-month chop zone again from February to the summertime. And then, right, the market was off to the races again. And then, right, you had a handful of months here where you were doing a dipsy-do dump-garoo. And then, right, you had a big distribution kind of top for 4 or 5 months later on. So you could have inside the bull market, right, a lot of different cycles within it. And we're getting a distribution cycle inside the bull cycle. It doesn't mean that the market's going to roll over, but it does mean that we do have to be a little bit more wary and careful to not hammer the stocks that were working a month ago with the exact same momentum strategy that you were doing a month ago. So if you were trading NVIDIA or SMTC, right, like a month ago, during this phase, you were probably doing some chasing, you were doing some holding overnight. You could have done all sorts of things and they would have worked out because the stock was going up every day, right? Same thing with SMC and many other names, right? And so the things that you're doing when the stock is doing this is vastly different than what you would do when a stock is in this kind of phase, right? This phase requires momentum and trend techniques. And then when you're in this type of phase, right, it's a leave alone for trend traders. But if you're insisting on just hammering and slamming your D into a drawer, then you're doing more mean reversion techniques. You're doing more support plays and parabolics both ways, and you're doing different things. And so that's something to just kind of keep in the back of your head here because we're fading some gaps. We're fading some gaps. We did it today. We've done it numerous days, right? Strength is getting faded off and some setups and breakouts are fading, right? You're having trouble kind of like you're having right, some of these kind of breakouts and they're just having a little bit of trouble pushing through, right? They're having a little bit of trouble pushing through. And then if you really look at your Mag 7 stocks, besides Google, which one looks really hot right now? AMD, not really, kind of, right? It's been a downtrend. Meta is just big chop zone, right? Netflix, not really anything. It's a grindy McGee, right? Just super extended, just chilling. Microsoft looks semi-okay. Amazon looks semi-okay. NVIDIA is on some support, but, right, it's lost a little bit of, it's digesting this, right, once-in-a-lifetime type of move. Tesla's in a bear market, and then Apple looks like it could break down. So a mixed bag. Some of them look good. Some of them look okay, and some of them look terrible. So we're into that. So you have to kind of keep that into the back of your mind and adjust. A month ago, they all looked great. Now you have more mixed signals. So just keep that into your back of your head. Now, on the other side of things, while this kind of slow distribution happens and, you get the cycle inside the cycle, there are other types of names and things happening. So first of all, earnings season will start up fairly soon. You have Alcoa is usually the kicker, and that is going to be April 17th. So once earnings season starts, you're going to have gappers and things anyways. You don't have to really worry so much about the macro picture. You don't have to worry so much about, right, the ins and outs of the big seven. You know, you'll have all these other stocks that are having earnings and stuff like that to play. So, you know, just be patient, too. So let's go into a couple watch lists here. This will be short and easy. So, you know, TPST came on the scan today. I won't personally trade this, but you do got a big base here. It's a fairly low float. And these type of names have been going, you know, and so I point that out. I won't play it. Once again, I don't have a death wish on myself. I'm too old, too fat, too bald to really, I'm too cantankerous to be playing these kind of things, but it looks good. Now, this iron had a nice look to it. You know, you got to be consolidated for a little period of time, but this is like, you know, it had just like a nice steady range. It wasn't like one of these things that's going to blow up like 500%, right? It's just a tradable, kind of a little bit smaller name, and it's got a little wedge that it's coming out of. Voyager, I've actually made some money on this in the past, so I put this on the list. Is showing up on the scans. You know, when the market churns, oftentimes biotechs are a good place to be because they're not really index dependent per se. Like, if the Dow Jones goes down, biotech's PRs are still probably going to work, right? The SPY is grinding, biotech PRs will still work, you know, so on and so forth. You can put this Voyager on. NXC, a lot of minerals plays, miners, uranium, gold, right? We've been talking about gold on these watch lists forever, right? You know, at a long-term position here. I think you still hold this for a few months. I wouldn't chase it up here, obviously, but you know, if it pulls back to maybe 200, you can kind of reload. It moves mostly on gaps anyways, but there's a lot of these kind of names that are holding up here in the energy and minerals and, right, uranium and all these kind of other sectors, right? Energy, if you look at the XLE, right, you got a big breakout here that's happening. So this is the spot to be at, right? Especially if you're a swing trader. You know, if you're not playing some of these, look at this thing. Look how far back it goes, guys. This is 10 years, right? 10 years. Think about that, right? So you want to be into this sector. Dell Computers, guys, I've been putting this on the watch list for a while. Finally triggered today. You know, you had that kind of 116 push. I think this is a prime candidate tomorrow. Week open, red to green, this bad boy. You know, we've got a 130 kind of, it could drift up to 122, 130 really quickly. LAC, this goes in with the metals theme, right? This is lithium, I believe. But it's got that look to it, right? You know, it's got that look to it. This thing used to be $40. You know, you got this thing. You got all this airspace overhead. You know, we can play this one. And it's $1 billion company. It's not going to be like your, you know, $30 million low-flow biotech, you know, chat room play. It's a regular company for the most part. I think we can play this. Love this Taiwan Semiconductor if tech goes. If semis can hold up. You've got a range break here, very similar to Dell, right? Very similar kind of look to Dell. You've got a range break that's just essentially developing here about 143, 142.50, 143. Looks fantastic. Google busted loose. Man, this thing, I had the thing, man. I'm getting old, man. I had the stock box up, man. I got everything ready, and the market goes ding, 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 and it was like, boom, MPC, right? The first candle. And a lot of times, you know, a lot of you guys may be like, oh, only with 3 points, who cares? But, you know, I usually would trade the options on it. And dude, these things went from 88 cents to basically $4 in a hot second. I mean, think about that, right? 300, 400% gain. 15 minutes. Google options are always cheap. So like when this thing goes, you get the calls on it. I was telling you in yesterday's video, right? The 152 calls is going to be probably the spot. I think we get a week open on that. We go PBF. Love this name still. You know, Grinder today, week open, red to green, same type of deal. We want to keep red to green in this thing. It's got 60s in the cars. APP, very orderly, low volume pullback, right? The volume's just right declining on the pullback. I think this thing holds into the bone zone here and starts curling its way out. It's got a good look to it. Onan, right? The Crocs for euros, the Crocs for the Swiss, right? The $300 cloud tennies, baby. You know, dude, you got Onans. You going places in life. You got the ugliest shoes around. You got the ugliest shoes around. But you got money. And in the end, that goes a long way, right? You got a breakout here, 36. It's looking buenos. And then you got a lift here, right? Breakout, little bit of a flag. Make sure the IWM confirms, make sure the IWM confirms a little bit on this one. And Uber is grinding down. I'm watching this one at the 50-day moving average. If it can pull into it. In this run, it's not tested the 50-day the whole time. If it comes into it, dude, I'm a buyer of that. right? This was the earnings push, flag break. Inside day today. Inside day is my favorite day trading setup in a bull market. You got, right? Big push, narrow range day. Dude, this is a red to green or take out of 21. Like, we're playing this bad boy. We got to. Hey, Lulu finally starting to test this thing, right? It faded off its gap. Same type of deal, man. If it gaps up, pushes up even a little bit, we're going to fade this thing off, get this thing down into 385s. We're going to get revenge on this company for cheating, right? Millions of men in the United States, millions of men have been tricked by these Lulu pants, lured in by these Lulu pants, and we're not going to stand for it no more, right? We ain't standing for it. We short this thing all the way back down. Nike, same setup as Lulu. This is the earnings gap down. If you break these lows for the bros, here we go, right? VKTX, nice. This is looking even better. The fact that it was down today actually tightens up the pattern much more. I like it a lot more now than I even did yesterday. This thing, if it can hold these MAs, it's got a chance. Look at this Etsy. You got a breakdown setup. This one and Apple got both breakdown setups here. Nice, just nice little cheddars right there. If it comes down into those zones, both those, Etsy, Apple, right? Those are what we call flat bottom breakdowns. They're clearly defined levels. When you have when you can do your intraday setups around key levels, key supply and demand zones, like your trades just work out a lot more clean, and the algos kind of just shred these things down and up and all this kind of fun stuff anyways. So they end up being a really, really good spot. So, guys, that's it. Smash that like button for me. I gotta get this. I gotta get the word out, the gospel out of the Bulls on Wall Street ways that we do things. I love you guys. Peace.